Tonight I'm gonna talk on the principles of bottom to bottom. Um, I've actually talked about bottom to bottom before on another separate lecture from maybe a couple of months ago. So I'm gonna revisit that principle again today. So bottom to bottom, why is it important? How to learn how to do it, and what benefits you'll get over the long term by embracing this principle and applying it to your overall practice. It's important because when you're doing bottom to bottom, you're making a connection to the internal space. Bottom to bottom is when you develop the qualities of what you have in your physical clothing, the vessel that holds your body, the muscles. It knows it's going to learn how to be sewn, how to be empty. So this way, the energy can initiate not from the top, but it'll go from bottom to bottom. So, and then when that happens, then you'll feel a sense of constant connection, what I call no separation. And once you have no separation, it allows for this momentum energy. That's why it's very important. It cultivates momentum energy, no separation, and that line energy that will become more and more apparent through the practice of IST. Now, how do you do it? It gets back to the fundamentals that we've been talking about all along. And let's take the acronym JFM: joints, fascia, and muscle. To have bottom to bottom, the joints need to learn how to open. And we'll talk about that in a second. The fascia, your internal balloon, needs to stretch more and more and more, unlimited. And the muscles must learn how to hang and let go. We talk about the structure, integrity, and the hanger of that metaphor, the clothing that hangs on a hanger. The clothing just hangs. There's no other thing that it's supposed to do when it hangs on a hanger. Our bodies are the same. We need to let the body just hang on the structure of our internal system. When that happens, then you have this free flow of energy that knows where to go. Because when we stand, we have gravity. That gravity is energy. We have top energy, we have bottom energy. If the top energy doesn't know where to go because of stiffness or tightness in the quad and the waist area, then you have top heavy. You're attempting to learn how to be heavy on the bottom through the releasing, and you have stuck energy on top. So JFM will teach you that. How to do it, everything starts with your yi, what they call intention training. That's very important. When you talk about, well, how do I open the joints? What does that mean? Actually, if I give you an example, you guys already know how to do it already. You folks, some of you that have kids, some of you that we've all been to school. Now I'm leading to something. You guys know how this works when joints are open. When a teacher is telling a student, hey, time out, go to the corner or go to another room. What they're essentially saying is, hey, calm down. Learn to not be so tense. Because when you're angry, when you're upset, you get tense. And what happens to your joints? They lock up, right? When we have conversations among adults and it becomes very intense, there's this contentious type of discussion. Time out. Let's come back in 5 minutes. We'll figure out how we need to solve this. What they're saying is, open your joints. Don't be so tense. your voice is getting too aggressive. When that happens, you can't connect to the ground. So we understand that from a Western viewpoint and what we know already, right? Taking a time out. Let's take a break before we continue talking. That's learning to keep the joints open. When the joints are open, energy flows a lot better. Energy is not just on the physical body. There's energy in your mind. We need to know how to clear and release the mind. That's all part of going bottom to bottom. When things are stuck, you won't go bottom to bottom. You may feel relaxed to a certain point, but you don't know how to release yet. That release, when you become more song, as your JFM becomes more and more developed, your mind starts to be in the present moment, then you'll know how to go bottom to bottom. And that feeling of bottom to bottom, we learn to verify that not just in solo training, but also in two-person drills. If you watch some of the videos that we've been doing just this past week, and I know we have a lot of videos because, thank you to Mary and Bob. They're very active. They like to share, and we like to do that. On a lot of the drills that look difficult to do, I'm already going bottom to bottom. Once you touch my center and you're giving me a lot of energy coming towards me, I don't start at the point of contact to go down. By that time, if I go down, it's already too late. Once you touch me, I'm already actively releasing. I'm already training. I'm always maintaining equilibrium, GOES. So as a result, you touch me 1%, 50%, 100%. I'm always developing to go bottom to bottom. And once you're in the internal space, I can return and rebound that energy back to you. Thus, therefore, the 5 R's. I'm receiving, I'm releasing, I'm rooting, I am rebounding and returning it back to you. And when it's done right, we know one thing for sure. It doesn't affect you in the upper part of your body. It gets to your roots. And when that happens, then you know more and more you're going in the right direction. You're developing this constant connection, momentum, energy to the ground. And long-term benefit, well, you'll feel this constant big cycle, what they call daijotin. And when that happens more and more in your solo practice, because most of the time we don't have a chance to always meet people in class practice. We may go once or twice, some more, but often, we don't always have the chance. Then you start to verify yourself. You know that the energy is flowing. You know that you're doing bottom to bottom. And the benefits are enormous. We're fostering good health. We're maintaining our alignment so energy knows how to flow. Our back health will not be compromised because a lot of back problems have problems because we leverage it the wrong way. We're putting too much strain on one part of the body. And as a result, our back health gets more compromised. And when that happens, it's hard to do anything because of just the difficulty and the strain and the pressure you feel in the discomfort in the lower back. But with bottom to bottom, that means that we're doing all the pieces become more and more working and know how to connect together, from alignment to energy flow, to this connection to the ground, and this feeling of everything working together. Okay. And when everything works together, what's happening is another piece of the puzzle is coming into the picture. They call that 武功, or the 5 bows. Okay. The 2 arms, the 2 legs, also known as the 4 limbs. When those 4 limbs know how to connect to your center, the core of your body, then now energy knows how to move. Everything is working more in harmony. It's like the highways know how to connect. Imagine Highway 101, Highway 280, for those of you who are in the Bay Area. You know that there's a 380 in the middle that connects those two. It's kind of like that. Everything knows how to flow smoothly, and the fluidity becomes more and more. When you have bottom to bottom, that's what's going to happen. All the other pieces will start to interact and work more in harmony. Okay? So that's bottom to bottom. We'll talk about it again in the future as we constantly revisit other principles. Because as you progress, when I talk about it, it's going to resonate very differently. Very differently. Um, in fact, I'm looking forward to maybe not this year, but next year, going back to see Seafood Chen because of what I'm doing here, how I can continue to talk about it, how we continue to share and practice. So when he tells me something, it's also going to resonate very differently. And that's exciting because, we spend time to come to make decisions to be in this program, to practice regularly because we want to see the changes. We want to see the progress, of course. And of course, we're fostering good health because of it. And that's very exciting. That's where much of the motivation comes from because we know that as we go from, kids to adults to the back end of our lives, we want a good cushion, a good landing so that we have good health. That's all part of the big picture and the motivation. Okay. So that's on bottom to bottom.